Welcome to Grey County Life on Rogers TV at home this week. And I'm one of your hosts, Rhonda Brown, with the always delightful Charles and Miss Mary Jane Murray. Good morning, Mary Jane. How are you this week?
Oh, good morning, Rhonda. Just great. Still waiting for some spring-like weather. It's going to be a warmer day, but, spring is on the way. But what we're going to do is a little bit different today because Rhonda and I usually have lots of things to say, but we really wanted to give this time to Joan Chandler, the artistic director of Sheator, because of all the really good productions that they've done over the years on really important community issues. So welcome, Joan, and tell us what's going on lately with you, and let's get a promo in for your next workshop.
Thank you so much, Mary Jane. What's going on with me is that I'm hunkering down out here in my office, looking at the snow and preparing for some workshops and some other things that are coming up. And it's really wonderful for Sheator, a theater company here in Grey Bruce, to be coming back to the community live to do workshops involving folks like our listeners here. So that's what I'm up to today, prepping. And
people don't realize how much behind the scene work goes into these productions. I think the same thing when I think of Miss Mary Jane, because she does a lot of prepping for us as well. So you're probably up to your eyebrows, Joan.
I am. You're right. You're right. So the first thing that we have coming up that's very exciting for us, because it's the first live workshop we've done in a couple of years, is about climate action and climate change. We're working with Georgian Bluffs Climate Action Team, and together we are pulling together a wonderful creative set of workshops. The first is called Act for Climate, theater and movement and puppet workshop that we're doing during March break. So from March 13th to 17th, we're going to be at the Harmony Center in Owen Sound, and facilitators Ron Schweitzer, who works with puppets and creating puppets, and Kit Bolter, who is a wonderful dynamic performer and facilitator, and myself will be working with folks ages 10 and up. And up can be like 99, 104, whatever you are, to create some short little scenes that we're going to perform along the riverfront in Owen Sound during Earth Day Parade on April the 22nd.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, these are going to be really vibrant scenes that we create, little pieces that demonstrate what our folks who are involved believe could be possible with regard to climate change. We all know here in Grey Bruce, because we live in the climate, we live with this snow, we live with, on the escarpment or wherever, we're able to see climate change. What can we do about it? And so that's what this workshop is about. And we'll be plugging into Earth Day because as a whole, Earth Day is looking at all of those things, all of those questions, and all of those realities. What we also want to do with this is to capture what we're doing. And for that reason, we have a second workshop called Digital Director. People will work with Kit Bolter to learn how to create short documentaries focusing on the Act for Climate workshop and listening to what people have to say and what they create and what are these ideas that people have for making actions that are going to help us with regard to climate change. Those particular films are going to be shown later on in the community and will be used by both groups as models for what people in other communities or in other groups could do. It's fun. It's going to be so much fun and so simple to get together and share our ideas in these really creative ways. So that's what we're up to during March break. And people can get in touch with us. They can email me at engage@sheator.com. And Sheator is spelled like theater, only with an S at the beginning, SHEATRE. So if you're interested, you can get in touch with me by emailing me at engage@sheater.com.
Now, I understand that these workshops are free. Is that correct?
That's correct. Thank you. Yeah, no cost for participating. The cost to you would be whatever you want to bring for lunch.
And we all have to eat lunch.
Yes.
Lunch is always important, that's for sure. But I think one of the things that is so important for our viewers to know is the deep roots of Sheater and how you, over the years, have really touched on really important community issues. Climate change is the most recent one, but some of the previous works that you have done are really shining a light on some of the deeper or darker issues that we've had in our community, like elder abuse and how to protect your own sense of identity and body through what was it called, the victimization and rape and things like that. So the history of Sheater is really important to tapping into all those really deep issues that we have in our community, climate change being at the top of the list at this particular time.
There are two other projects that we're doing right now. One, over COVID, we couldn't do live shows, so we turned to podcasting. And if you go to sheater.com, you're going to find there the two podcasts that we've created. One is You Cannot Throw Your Granny Off a Bus. And the second, the second is Michel Minwa Noki, Yumi and Wrinkles. Both of those address elder abuse using really uplifting stories and also very deep and fascinating conversations with experts in the field of elder care and elder abuse. And they include people who have experienced it, people who are really curious, like children from the Muwikwadong Indigenous Friendship Center. And so
Joan?
you come there to listen to the podcast.
Hi, Joan. Thank you so much for coming on today and giving us a heads up of what's coming down the pipe with Sheater and for helping us talk about some really challenging issues in our community. If you're going to give a call or go on the website or email, and we will be back after these messages with more Great County Life on Rogers TV.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
We all start on different bases, and only some of us make it safely home. Anyone can get stuck on first. Without a clear path to home base, there are over 235,000 Canadians experiencing homelessness every year. Raising the Roof is on a mission to help all those in need find a safe place to call home. With every purchase of a Raising the Roof baseball cap, you are helping us get one step closer to ending homelessness in Canada. Visit raisingtheroof.org to get yours today. Because everyone deserves a home base.
After a night out with your friends, not having a plan for a safe ride home can leave you in a bad spot. You could end up riding in a police car, an ambulance, or a hearse. These unplanned modes of transportation can be a costly choice and do not take you home. Your plan could include a designated driver, a taxi, or public transit. Drink responsibly, choose your ride, and have a plan for a safe ride home.
Visit arrivealive.org to find out more.
But he's, taking up some space, and just a perfect shot.
And we got a tie ball game. Nice low shot, right around.
Welcome back to Great County Life on Rogers TV. It is a beautiful morning out this morning, Miss Mary Jane, and I think you've got somebody to give a shout out to.
I do. One of the things that we really like to do on Great County Life is to celebrate the good businesses and the good service that we have in our community. And just this past week or so, my friend Gail and I have our annual February luncheon, and we were at the Frog Ponds. And I just wanted to do a shout out to Neil, who is the owner, and Lynn, our server, and they did an amazing job. And Rhonda, I have a really oddball allergy that sets everybody off. And they just went above and beyond to accommodate that. So great job to the Frog Ponds.
Yeah, it's a lovely establishment. I actually really enjoy the coffee there too. So yeah, very worth the trip to downtown Owen Sound.
Absolutely, yes. And we are welcoming a special guest new to our show, which is always lovely to have new faces. And we have PJ Fly, and he is an author and an educator and very much involved in theater work as well. So what a well-rounded. Now, what we're going to talk about, welcome PJ, and what we're going to talk about is your new book that's coming out, Sci-Fi Fantasy for Young Adults. So tell us what's going on.
Well, thank you. It's wonderful to be here. Yes, it is a sci-fi fantasy book. I would say it is for young adults, definitely, but for all ages, really. I've had people give me feedback from young to old to say that they've really enjoyed the story. I think that there's something there for all ages in the sense that there are some themes I go into which are quite relevant to today's society. For example, if you look at the idea of belief in our society and how that has really evolved over time. And now we're living through a time when people are in echo chambers and they have the idea that, this set of facts, this is what's real, this is true. And it's very interesting. That's an idea I want to explore, is the idea that, what you do when somebody has such deep belief. So that's one theme. So I think there's something there for adults who might be a little more discerning, looking for something that has those elements in it, those themes to explore. But it's also a really fun story. It's action adventure and it's science fiction and fantasy, and it's just a really great read. So it's a lot of fun.
You made a comment there, PJ. Echo chamber.
Echo chamber.
Echo chamber. I don't know what that means.
Oh, sort of an echo chamber is when you look at something, maybe an online platforms, and you think they are just reflecting back to you what you already think.
Okay.
So if someone sort of lives inside a bit of a silo, right? They sort of live in this bubble where they say the Earth is flat, for example. Like, there's even that reemerging. I've heard as people saying, no, the Earth is really flat, which is I know. It's just like, okay, what's going on here? But it just, when you hear that, it's just like, wow, it's so interesting what people are believing in now, and it's they're so strong in their beliefs, and they look at a set of facts and other people that reaffirm those ideas and those beliefs, and that's all a part of being in the echo chamber. Like, the idea that when you say something and it echoes, it's just the echo is repeating back to you exactly what you said before.
Wow, how relevant is this in this day and age? And I feel the same way. I mean, if you search one thing online, you get bombarded with it all of a sudden. So how relevant? So what made you decide, when did you start writing this particular book?
This I started writing back in 2016. So it has been sort of a labor of love since then. And to say, that was one idea that I really wanted to explore. And I think that through science fiction and fantasy, it really lends itself to the exploration of current themes. Partially, I think, because it's safe. If people look at current topics or ideas that that are very relevant to the real world that we're living in now, but are being explored in a different world with different people, that, you know, a world that isn't real, then they can kind of be open to exploring those ideas a little bit more. And maybe before, you know, in the real world, they would be closed off to it. So that's why I love to write in science fiction and fantasy. It's something I've always loved. And so I hope that answers that question. I'm meandering off here.
No, that's good.
In the bio, it indicates that you actually started writing when you were about 10,
Yes.
and have carried this through. But I just wanted to ask you, how does your background in theater help you in not only teaching in a high school situation, but also in writing your books?
I think, well, for teaching, let me address that one first. I think when I first started teaching, it was a little nerve-wracking. You know, you're new to it, you're stepping into the classroom for the first time, you want to do a really great job, you want to engage the kids, have them enjoy the class. And I think what I did is I really tried to, you know, go in with that confidence. And I was like, okay, you come from a theater background, you know, act like the teacher. Come on, you know, even though you're so young and you're close in age to these kids, you know, let's play this role. And it really helped me to sort of step into those shoes and really, you know, feel out what it was like to be a teacher, you know, as I was starting out. And then, you know, as you go along, you get the experience, and it's fine. So there's that way theater has really helped me as far as teaching. In terms of writing, I am a classically trained actor. So I studied all of classical theater from ancient Greek, ancient Rome, medieval Europe, and even, you know, Shakespeare especially. I love Shakespeare. Shakespeare is wonderful, and I think Shakespeare really informs my writing in the sense that it very much lends itself to fantasy and science fiction, if that makes sense. The way Shakespeare would speak, the way he would talk in his plays is very much, in my mind anyways, like the writing in a fantasy novel. It's sort of elevated and sort of very sort of high level language, if that makes sense.
Well, it's interesting how you've blended all those skills and talents into actually writing your book. But this is your second book.
Yes.
So your first book, The Legend of Seven.
Legacy. So the series is called Legacy of Seven. The first book is called Guardian Rises, and the second book is Darkness Falls.
Okay, so these are repeating characters that you have
Yes.
in the series. Now, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, but is it Andrelia?
Andriel.
Andriel,
yes.
Okay. And Sir Francis, which was easy. Is there something about the robot CD-45? Because when I looked at that, I went, is there a hidden meaning behind that? Because I remember the 45 records when records were being played on a 45, and then of course merged into a CD. So I made a very old link to that, but you might be making a different link.
Oh, first of all, Mary Jane, I love that link. That's such an interesting link to the name of the character. I think CD stands for construction droid. So that there's that. So there's that piece there. 45 I picked because that is the number of the street I grew up on. So yeah. Yeah.
Very cool.
So you know, you say as a writer, you write what you know, and you pick these little bits and pieces that you put in from your life.
Oh, well, that's great. But you know, if it's a book for all ages, we might make different links than what you were thinking at the time. And so
Absolutely.
it flashed back a bit of a memory to me. But just wish very much that I was at the age of 45. I mean, I would be happy with that.
Well, you both look wonderful. You know, I'm not too sure what your ages are, but you look wonderful.
JP, you just earned yourself a repeat visit on Grey County Life.
Woohoo! Awesome, wonderful, thank you.
Number 3, we want you back for sure.
That's great, thank you. But yeah, no, I love the fact that you're thinking about different connections, and I love that different readers can, you know, you can pick up any book and read it, and just you really can make different connections, and that's really something that I think is fantastic.
I love the idea that when you're reading it, you know, as simple as the pronunciation of the character's name.
Mm-hmm.
I might, in my head, I will always have it the way I initially pronounced it in my own head, right or wrong. But it's also my envision of the whole environment that you create with your words, but it's in my mind. So
Mm-hmm.
that's to me is the biggest difference between, of course, a movie and adaptations and reading the book is the imagination part of it that gets stimulated when you're reading something. And sci-fi for youth is, yeah, that's a fantastic genre. You've got so much area to play with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I agree with you. I think that while movies do a wonderful job with special effects, they really do these days, nothing beats the imagination as far as I'm concerned. Just being able to read a book or even listen to a book on audio and just to really picture that world in your head, it's hard to compare that, I would say.
What is the story of your second book, or of the series? What is the storyline?
So the basic storyline is it's taking place 2,000 years in the future after an apocalypse, and there's this world of wizards, robots, who are trying to sort of and just regular people that are trying to find their way in this sort of new medieval world that has sort of evolved over time. It's very much, I think, when you read it, I think it presents much more as a fantasy, but the fantasy is a bit kind of like a backdrop, bringing in that theater element again. It's kind of like a stage setting almost. And as the reader, you know it's not real. You know it's not really fantasy, that it really is science fiction, but it will feel very much like fantasy as you read it. But we know things like Sir Francis and CD45 give us a lot of information in the first book and even the second book, about what the world was like before, and sort of in the 25th century, as I imagine it, is when the world sort of crumbles, and what is the world like at that time, and how advanced is it, and they really sort of do a great job telling us what that world was like, and then also it really helps you keep in perspective this new medieval world and what it's really like. You know, what is magic? What's science? Maybe it's all science. Maybe it's all magic. You as the reader can really decide that.
That sounds interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, one of the underlying themes, which I really appreciate, is that ordinary people can make a difference. And I think that particularly for younger readers, that is very hopeful.
Absolutely. And coming from a high school teaching background, I think it made sense for me to focus on a young person as the main character. It is very much an ensemble cast, but Andrielle is the main character. Her journey is the one that will really resonate with readers the most. Not to say that the others won't, but hers above all, I think, really does. And it is that sort of exploration of what is it like just to feel like you don't have a lot of skills, or you've lived in your own little world, and then to go out into the big world and try to really sort of make your way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's a really important message for our youth, and also, I mean, as you said, it's for all ages. But I think we're in an environment now where sometimes our youth are struggling with the sense that they don't have enough confidence or the mental health strength to actually feel as if they're making a difference in the world. And so that's why I said that I appreciate the underlying theme that ordinary people can make a difference, as being very hopeful and giving them a sense of empowerment.
I absolutely agree with you, Mary Jane. I think looking at Andrielle's journey in the first book, and even as she continues that in the second, we really see how she grows. Growth is not a straight line. She takes, one step forward, two steps back. She makes mistakes. She has regrets, and she doubts herself. There's times where she has, moments of where it's really she's feeling confident, and moments where she's feeling, I just can't do this. I can't go on. And that's, I think, very much akin to anybody's experience as they're learning and growing, especially a young person who might say, today, yeah, I'm feeling confident, I'm feeling great. Next day is like, oh no, I just can't face, the day today. Maybe I'll stay home and pull the covers over my head.
We all have days like that.
Absolutely.
For sure, we do. And so now that you have this second book that's being published and out there, are you thinking of a third? Like, is this going to be a continuing series, and we'll see the growth of these characters?
Absolutely, you will. Absolutely. Actually, I would say that the third book it's pretty much written now. I have to go back and do some reworking, but the third book is there. The first two books, first book is out already. Second book comes out May 16th, and then the third book should be out sometime next year.
Where can we buy your books, PJ, very quickly?
Anywhere that books are sold. Amazon, you can do a search, you'll find them. Legacy of Seven, Guardian Rises, or even do a Google search for PJ Fly author, and you'll find me.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, we are looking forward to having you back for book 3, because as I said, you're in the schedule now after throwing out a compliment to me and Miss Mary Jane. So
thank you. Well, I've had a great time, and I really appreciate you having me on your show.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming. It's been fun.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Great day. We'll be back after these messages with more Great County Life at Home.
I'm a singer-songwriter from Six Nations, and I've been writing songs about my experience, and with that being said, it's helped me hold hope in my heart in following my dreams and being resilient to everyday Indigenous battles. Competition between spirit, earth, and wind, let me tell you now. This song in particular, The Shiner, is a special song that I wrote for my grandfather. He was a snow snake maker, and that is a Haudenosaunee winter sport. It's my job to educate and to share, and the music allows me to do that. He'll be shining snow snakes and mudcats to the end of his days.
October 5th, 2014, my daughter was hit by a train. She was walking along the sides of the tracks, and it shattered her world.
What kind of show do you want to see on Rogers TV? What interests you? Log on to rogerstv.com, fill out a show proposal, and tell us about your segment idea. We want to know what you want to see. Rogers TV, only on Rogers.
Welcome back to Great County Life on Rogers TV at Home this week. And we have a special guest, Miss Mary Jane.
We do. We have Jeremy Woodley, but I'm just wondering, Rhonda, you gave me a heads up. You wanted to do a shout out before we got into the interview with Jeremy?
Well, unfortunately, and I'm sure Jeremy's got lots of experience with this, my memory's not the best. So I will think on that while we're chatting with Jeremy and try to remember what it was that I was thinking I wanted to give a shout out to.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll just go right in with Jeremy. We just fly by the seat of our pants, and that's what is so much fun about Grey County Life. So, welcome, Jeremy. And you have Jeremy Woodley Care Services, and you're a certified personal support worker. And you've got 17 years experience, and you're helping folks stay in their own home. And at this time, it is really important to have people age in place. So tell us, Jeremy, what is happening in our community right now and with your services?
Well, it's great to be here this morning. And, well, we've given what's been going on the last couple of years with the COVID, lockdowns on and off and the pandemic and whatnot. One thing COVID did do was expose healthcare and the desperate need of nurses and PSWs and caregivers needed. And given when your loved ones are in a home during a lockdown, you can't go see them. So now we've been finding, like I figured when I started this business 9 years ago, I figured it would be nice and steady. People would want private help and baby boomers. So I figured we'd get to a nice steady, but since the summer of 2021, it has been bonkers and off the charts and hard to keep up with, which is a good thing for the most part for business. Tough on the emotions and mental dream part, but
it's overwhelming, isn't it? The demand.
It is. The demand has really increased. So we're finding that, of course, all homes are short-staffed. So families that, if they are in a retirement home, for example, they're still paying us to go in for extra care. And then as well as the private care needs are increasing. And being around for 9 years, and next year will be my 10th anniversary. So I'm more well-known throughout Owen Sound in the Grey Bruce community area as well, because we have clients all over the place. So I'm more well-known in that regard. And so, yeah, the demand is out there. So we are finding that, yes, business has increased, but as well as looking after the elderly, we support a lot of the special needs individuals. So we are getting a lot of autistic adults and teenagers and kids, teenagers with fetal alcohol syndrome, individuals with cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, needing either one-to-one care or two-to-one care for behavioral management reasons.
Wow.
There's been a whole wide gamut of things that have increased in the last couple of years.
So, Jeremy,
as a piece, sorry, go ahead, Mary Jane.
I was just going to ask how many members you have on your team and whether or not you're able to accommodate the many needs.
Mm-hmm. For the most part, we are. I've got between 20 to 25 on paper. Again, a third of them are full-time and they're doing just fantastic stuff. They've gone above and beyond the call of duty, and they are making a difference in the families' homes that they're caring for. And I got a lot of part-time casuals because they have other jobs, so they can only give me so much. But what they do, though, is consistent each and every week, and it's quality, and they do what's asked. And then you get a few that's hard to find them for work, but that's another story. But
it's a question. What does a PSW do in somebody's home? What are some of the things that they're able to do on a weekly basis?
Yeah, so a PSW, they would help with the personal care, from helping with the showers, a bath, getting dressed, cleaning dentures if needed, toileting, changing of the underpads, creams.
Do they do housekeeping?
And we offer homemaking. So yeah, light house cleaning, helping with meals, laundry, grocery shopping, errands, rides to appointments, respite and companionship. in some cases where the respite comes in for the caregiver, it's sometimes with the government ran home care agencies, their showers or personal care is usually taken care of, but families need top up. So then they hire us for the stuff they can't do. And then that gives the caregivers a break from, because they get burnt out pretty quick looking after their loved ones.
So when you say respite care, is that overnight respite care so that the main caregiver, and it's usually either a wife or a husband or their children, is that overnight care like a 24-hour break where they can actually leave the home and go and do something else or visit a friend, go to a show, travel a little bit out of town just so that they get a complete break from the day in? So your respite care is like a 24-hour break for the caregiver?
Yeah, respite, it depends on what they are asking for, but we definitely do offer overnight care and the 24/7 care. And sometimes they just want once or twice a week for a multi-hour window of time, just to go visit a friend, get a few errands done, just to have somebody in their home knowing that their loved one's taken care of and they just can go have a break.
Now, the experience I had with my father in the community that he was in, it's not in Graham Bruce. What they did was the care services would routinely change the caregiver so that my dad didn't always have consistency, and he missed that. He missed the consistency, and I just wondered if that was an anomaly or if that's something that is a regular practice.
When it comes to the government ran home care, unfortunately that is the case. Not to no fault of their own, sometimes they just go through staff or whatever reason. With us though, you get the same staff. We pride ourselves, for the most part, like we try to send the same staff to the same family, so it's easier on everybody that way. They build the friendship, the kinship, the trust. They get used to the routine and whatnot. And then, well, sometimes, not that the staff's a bad person, but sometimes they don't gel well with the Smith family. So you have to send somebody else to them and put this one over here. And it's nothing bad. It's just sometimes people gel better with some more than others. But we do try to keep the same person to the same staff. There's been times where that hasn't been the case because of turnover of staffing. But for the most part, I would say 9 times out of 10, we're able to keep and it's easier for like scheduling, invoicing, everything always around, and easier on me than I know where everybody is at all times. But more importantly, better for they know who's coming. They know what they're getting with that person, and it's just. And then a lot of the times, like we just got a testimonial just a few minutes ago. I posted on Facebook how this particular family, they were hesitant on having strangers in the house. It was friends of mine through my church, but now the PSW and the nurse I sent to them, they've become friends to them. They look forward to seeing them.
Oh, that's a sign of a good PSW that's doing their job and has a love for it and a love for humanity.
Right. And we pride ourselves as a team. We're not here just to, collect the money and punch a time card. We are doing our best to make a difference in people's lives, whether it's keeping them home longer than anticipated. With our special needs folks, like trying to calm their behaviors down, have fun respite one-on-one outings with them, and just making a difference in their lives, for the families' lives. Yeah, that's what this is really about.
Well, I'm really grateful to hear that, because I know how important it is, just through my own experience, to have the sense of safety and communication and that one-to-one respect between the client and the caregiver coming into the home, and how important that is. But just within the field itself, what we have seen, particularly over the past 3 years, is the amount of turnover and the amount of burnout that's happening with PSWs.
Oh, for sure. It's we have to pace ourselves so we don't burn out, but it can be very draining with the shortage of staff and the demands really up there.
How do you manage recruiting?
Well, I usually a lot of it's word of mouth. The others through Indeed or your job boards, Facebook posts, Kijiji, or sometimes we're friends who refer a friend.
And do you take PSW students right out of school?
Yes, we would.
Do you actually do additional training with them? I know that when you come out of a program and you're brand new at it, you have a lot of sort of theory. You don't have a lot of practical experience in a broader range. So do you do additional training or mentoring for new PSWs coming into the field?
Yes, we would. We haven't come across it as of yet, but we certainly would. And just the last month, we did the non-crisis intervention training. It took a while to get somebody to teach us, train us for it, but we finally got it. So, and we are looking to do other courses as well.
Well, I think it's really important to always keep up with the latest techniques, and because we're always, wanting to improve our healthcare system as new information and new routines come out, or techniques or whatever, in terms of working with people. And so ongoing training is, I guess, really important, not only within your organization, but within the PSW field in general. And one of the things I've noticed over the years is the gradual respect and acknowledgement for the field itself. And I'm hoping that it will also translate into stable wages for PSWs.
Wholeheartedly agree. And we do pay our staff well, so, and we offer benefits, and we cover like the first aid CPR training needed. So,
Well, that's excellent. So would a PSW working for you, obviously they're going to need their own vehicle?
yes.
Yeah.
I got one that doesn't, but she still manages to get to work. So she's a trooper.
Sounds like it. I'd say hold on to her for sure.
Yeah, no, she puts in a lot and she makes sure she gets to work. So,
yeah. Well, within the city of Owen Sound, it's easier to get around if you don't have your own vehicle. And I know that some students coming out of college don't have the funds to have a car at this point. But then you also cover a broad range. Is it both Gray and Bruce? And we're really quite rural.
Yes, it is. Yeah, we've got a clientele from Port Elgin, Southampton to as far as Newstead, Walkerton. We get over in Meaford, Durham. Most of it's coming from Owen Sound, but we do cover a whole wide range because of the amount that we're doing. So usually what I would do is just the ones who feel comfortable going out of town, or if I happen to have staffing in those areas, and then great. And if they don't feel comfortable going out of town, no big deal. We place everyone where they're comfortable and situated. And
I would think being a private company, you would have to have a lot of insurance.
Yes, we have. Yes, I have a huge insurance policy.
Yes, yeah, I would imagine that would be a hefty expense with that kind of a business. Do you plan on just keep on expanding as you can recruit more PSWs?
Yeah, well, that remains to be seen. I guess it would depend on. I try to make sure, like, if we are at full capacity, then we can't. I don't want to tell anybody, like, yeah, we can do it, then not deliver.
Yeah.
Families will appreciate if you're honest up front, and they understand too. Like everybody's aware of the situation we have. But if I find that more and more people are coming to work and they're going to be reliable and work full or part-time consistently, then sure, we can continue to grow and grow. So that will all depend on finding the staff for it and how much my nervous system can take too.
It would be, very intense. I'm sure trying to schedule all of that and get everyone's needs met. It would be very challenging and extremely stressful. So good on you for sticking with it, because I think that you are definitely something that is very needed in our community. I've heard stories of some of the privately run retirement homes, old age homes that are understaffed themselves.
Right. And then we're asked to come in and help out, and it's quite the dilemma for sure. But as long as I'm able to, and I've gotten help. Like my wife helps me a lot. I've got management in place too, and so if I get the right people and the right bodies and situated to take a lot of the stuff off of me to help out, then great. Then
yeah, you'll be scheduling respite care for yourself, mister, if you're not careful.
Well, I do need to take a vacation. I need to write a second book, and after catching Peter's the tail end of his interview. But the last time I tried to take a week off, I got sick, and then so I technically haven't had a break in a while.
Well, so you have to make sure you take care of yourself as well, you and your wife.
Yeah, I think we're gonna try and do something. March will be pretty busy, so hopefully in April we can get away for a weekend ourselves, and then she has said I can take a week off if I want to get caught up on the book and autism courses I'm working on. So,
excellent. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like quite a journey, Jeremy, because we did interview you, I think, the very first year that Rhonda and I were co-hosting. And at that time, we did talk about your book, Jeremy, Jesus, and the Beatles. And we were able to dive in a little bit on that book. So now you say you're writing a second book. And what would that be about?
Well, we will definitely have to have you back, Jeremy, to talk about that, because we're running out of time for today. But we really appreciate you coming on and letting us know and our community know that your services are available out there for family members, because it is a huge need. So we appreciate it, and we hope that you will stay busy on one hand, but also have time to take a break as well. So thanks so much. But we will be back after these messages with more Great County Life.
Hi, I'm Dave Carr. Next time on Politically Speaking, David Sherman will be your regular host, and he'll welcome the mayor and deputy mayor of the town of the Blue Mountains. That's Politically Speaking on Rogers TV.
I'm Lois Taylor.
And I'm Diane Austin. And we're with It's Happening Here with Lois and Diane. And we're in downtown Owen Sound. Beautiful downtown Owen Sound. Nice sunny day.
Yes, we have lots of exciting things coming for you this fall.
We have anything from going to Rintoul's Pools and Spas. We're going to be going to Popeyes. We're actually going to be going to Treasure Hunt. There's so many things that businesses we're going to be seeing.
We look forward to seeing you all.
Come and join us on It's Happening Here on Rogers TV.
No? Okay, fine.
to Great County Life with one of our favorite segments, Adorable Adoptables with Miss Renee. And as usual, she's the perfect little guest because I absolutely love these tri-colored cats.
Mm-hmm. I do it on purpose. No, I do, but I don't. This lovely lady, can we see your face? Could you show them how pretty you are? No. Okay. Her name is Spyro, Spryo. And the reason I am saying that is that my apologies, as I did not Google this. I do not know what it is. If I am saying something bad, ignore me. I think it's okay. I don't know. But the good news is cats are pretty much, they either ignore you or they'll come to you regardless of what you call them. Spyro is a pretty name. We have been calling her Spiral because it's a name we remember easier. But I mean, at this point, Kitty works really well as well. This girl she's now falling asleep in my arms. There we are. She's quite content to sit here. This lovely lady who is 7 years of age actually came in with the cat that we showcased last week. These two, although not entirely bonded, did live together for a period of time and were surrendered together. And her friend is still here. Now, if you remember last week, we talked about how she had an appointment to be spayed on Monday. She has been. Hooray. She is now available, as is her lovely friend who also was spayed on Monday, who is now completely asleep on my lap. Here we are.
Well, she does not look any worse for the wear.
You're peeking. She apparently was okay with that. She is an older female, so a little bit quieter, but a 7-year-old, although we all go, oh, she's so old. She's really not. They live quite easily to be 15, 16, 17 years of age in an indoor home. So, I mean, she's just at her best age, really. She's past that crazy rambunctious stage, and she's now at that settled lap cat stage, clearly as she's sound asleep. She has had her vaccines up to date, and she has been indoor only. So there's, of course, the advantage of the indoor only cat. And, you know, if you wanted a pair, you might want to call me because your friend's still here. See this is how I'm manipulating this show. 2 beautiful cats, take them both. We do offer a 2-for-1 deal, and we always have. And the reason for that is, number one, you're doing us a huge favor to take 2. But more importantly, especially with bonded pairs, if we can keep them together, and again, they're not that close. We have separated them and they're fine without each other. But if you're looking for a pair of compatible cats, we want you to keep them together because why the heck not? Cats do better in pairs, as do all other animals. Just saying, they like to have somebody to talk to. It can make life easier. If you are somebody who is out and about, not home a lot, you're worried about your buddy at home, it does help if they have somebody that they can talk to and rough around with. They are less needy. I use this as my excuse when I have multiple pets at home because, you know, I do. I tend to think that they do better with a buddy because I have less obligations to keep them busy. And in my life, I'm awfully busy. So, I mean, we certainly enjoy our time together and we do make time for the dogs and the cats and everything else, but we don't have that guilt, you know, oh gosh, I worked late today. I came home late. I've hardly seen you. You've only been here a couple of hours and now it's bedtime. We feel better about that. So, I mean, now hopefully everybody watching has just been convinced to come and take 2 cats. Hooray. You were worried about your cat being alone. Call me and I'll get you 2. It's funny, really. But I mean, if you just wanted 1, she is quite okay. 1 is still okay too. If you are a person who is home all the time, that is the best time to get 1 because they want to be your buddy just as much as you want them to be your buddy. So it seems to work out better that way. Again, her vaccines are up to date. Her spay is now done. All of her medical stuff has been taken care of, other than things that will pop up as she gets super old. So there's no urgency or any pressure in feeling the need to get them vetted, which is why we do it, right? Because it's a better option for people who maybe can't afford it, or at the same time, it's awfully difficult to get in often to get your pets into the vet these days. So now you don't have to worry about it. She is good with children, although there were no young children in her home. I think she'd be just fine. She understands that when she's done with something, she just goes away from it, which is what she's done in here. We've let her be free range a little bit, and she doesn't like it. She just walks away from you, which is totally okay. Not mean or aggressive. I don't know if you can see her here. She is now tucked under my arm. Here we are. Apparently very, very happy here. Additionally, she is healing from her spay. Could be part of the reason she's a little sleepy. It is only Wednesday. But there are no sutures that need to be removed. It's just a glued incision. So we do have some people who ask that question. Well, now that she's spayed, do I need to vet her to have sutures removed? And that is not the thing they do anymore. So hooray, no vetting needed.
Awesome. When's your next rabies shot clinic?
Yeah, it'll be in the fall, which is a bummer. We'd love to have one in the spring as well, especially as the world is really bizarre right now with wildlife. But it will be the fall. Now, there is, however, a list. If you search Rabies Clinics Ontario, just Google search it, they will give you a list of what is available and open, and then you just go with your closest and your most available. Yeah.
Okay.
What is the fee for the rabies clinic?
We charge $25 per vaccine. I'm not sure universally what the charge is, but I would assume it would be pretty darn close.
And have you had any more unwelcome guests at the hot tub?
Luckily, not since our last conversation, and I shall touch wood as I say that. We have a plan. Todd goes first, and the hockey stick is still beside the tub. And we have also learned to turn the radio on before we step out. So we've taken some steps to help prevent her showing up, but so far no sign of her. And the good news is we've not found a dead raccoon, which by now I think we would. So hooray, hopefully she is okay, and maybe it was just the weather, which is what we're hoping.
Yeah. Well, I've been on high alert in terms of, because of the snow, I walk around my house and look for tracks.
Good idea. Absolutely. It's still always wise, especially when hiking all season, to make sure you take maybe a stick with you, or a dog, or at least your cell phone to call for help in the event you have a situation. Coyotes right now are breeding, they're mating. There's a little bit of an increase in the coyote population. They're being seen more. I'm not suggesting we be afraid of them, just be aware. And at the same time, the raccoons, everybody else, they're all making babies right now. So it's a good idea to stay out of their territory, or at least be prepared to run into them if you don't. Yep.
But he's got a little spring in their step in the spring, Miss Renee.
It's true. We had a litter of kittens born here at the shelter very recently, like a few days ago. So it's coming, which is it's exciting. We always get excited about the first bunch for that reason. And then after that, no. But yay, it's here.
That's right. Thanks, Renee. We will see you next week on Grey County Life at Home. Everybody have a safe and lovely week.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
Was that 4 or 5? He's lost count and still thinks he can drive. Do you think he knows that when he is caught and charged with impaired driving, he'll lose his license and a lot more? If he gets in his car, he'll face costs exceeding $20,000. Does he realize he could have a criminal record for his choice to drive? And it could be much worse if he crashes. Wonder what he'll be thinking tomorrow.
Have a Holden one at 15.
Visit arrivealive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive. Drive so.
When an impaired driver killed my brother DJ, my life changed forever. During the pandemic, all of our lives changed, and many of us turned to alcohol and drugs to cope. As life returns to normal, the increase in substance use from COVID has lingered, and some police services report an increase in impaired driving that caused heartbreak and devastation. Now, more than ever, we need your commitment to never drive impaired, and to encourage all of your family and friends to do the same. Together, we can save lives.